Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and today Apple released iPadOS 26.3 to the public. Now, as far as what other updates has been released, this update also released alongside iOS 26.3, macOS 26.3, tvOS, and HomePodOS 26.3, and all the other updates. Now, as far as the file size of the update, it was 178 megabytes. That was because I was coming from the RC update, so it really wasn't that big. Though if you were coming from iOS 26.2.1, I would probably guess it would be around 7 to 9 gigabytes, as that's how big the RC was for me. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build number, and I will talk about what's new. So if I go into About, iOS version, as you can see, the build number is 23D127. This is the build number for iPadOS 26.3. Also, the reason why we got an RC, or everyone on the RC ended up getting an update. Apple changed the build number. As far as what's new in this update, well, if we go to transfer or reset iPad, we have an all new feature called transfer to Android. If I go into it here, if you have an Android tablet, whether it's a Samsung Galaxy Tab or another nearby device, you now have the ability to transfer your data to your Android device. This is the same thing on the iPhone, where you can transfer from your iPhone to your Galaxy or whatever device you have. So that is a really nice feature that Apple is allowing you to do that. If we go into wallpapers here, press and hold here, we have new weather wallpapers with different clock fonts. Taking a look here, we have a large clock font with the weather location. Then we have another one here that I can drag the time, showing, I believe, the moon. If we go into it here, we have that one showing the moon. And then we have our top widget of the same thing. So these are really nice widgets and wallpapers here in iPadOS 26.3. If I go into settings, if I scroll down to privacy and security, location services, we go all the way down to weather wallpapers. We have an all new toggle here called weather wallpaper, and you can toggle it between different things. So that is a really nice feature in iPadOS 26.3. You do have RCS messaging, but I believe that might be the iPhone. I'm not entirely sure. If it's for the iPad, it could be for cellular models. But as far as my performance, well, if we go into podcasts and we do some scrolling here, everything seems to load up as you would expect it. If you go to this page and do some scrolling, everything seems to work as it should. If we go into search, everything in here seems to work as it should. If we resize the window, there isn't no lag that I can see. If we go ahead and place another window here, let's go ahead and resize that one. There really isn't no lag. If we go into photos here, again, everything is pretty much smooth. So Stage Manager is smooth. No real issues with that. Everything on this iPad Air 4th generation seems to work as it should. This is an older device, just like my iPhone 12 with the A14 Bionic chip, but they seem to be working pretty good, whereas my iPhone was laggy in the video, as I'm pretty sure my iOS 26.3 What's New video is most likely going to come out before this one, which I'm currently making for the iPad. But as far as performance in the app library, everything seems to load up as it should. Scrolling here in the app library seems to work. as you should expect it. So things are pretty much working as they should. As far as anything else to expect from Apple, well, if we go into the calendar here, let me resize it. Just going to make it full screen for now. So within the calendar here, I would not expect iPadOS 26.4 Beta 1 this week. The reason why is because we now have iOS 26.3. Apple could drop it tomorrow, but I really would expect it next week. Now, I will not be installing the iPadOS 26.4 Beta 1. I will, however, be installing Beta 4 when we do get it. And we are supposed to get some new Siri voices. So if I go ahead and go into the voices here, I'm using the Quinn voice.
The colors of the sky fade with
So it's rumored that voice 4 is supposed to get replaced
the colors
with a new voice. That's good because older devices like my iPhone 12 and this iPad Air will not support the Apple Intelligence feature, so it's a little bit disappointing. But older hardware is not optimized for the Apple Intelligence as it is too demanding for older hardware. As far as what else to expect looking out of software, we are expected some new iPads and of course the iPhone 17e. But I believe we can see a March event kind of similar to the Apple peak performance event from 4 years ago back in 2022. If you guys remember that event, unfortunately, I did not have a YouTube channel at that time, but there was a major event back in 2022 alongside the iOS 15.4 update where there was released an Alpine Green iPhone 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, and a green 13 and 13 mini, along with the iPhone SE 3rd generation and the M2, or the M1 rather, iPad Air, and I believe the introduction of Mac Studio. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's when Mac Studio first came out. We could see another event that's similar to that on March 2nd, where we get the iPhone 17e, some new MacBooks, that new iPad 12th generation, as well as the new iPad mini with the A19 chip, the OLED iPad mini. We can also get a new M4 iPad Air. Now, I use the iPad Air 4th generation, so an update to the 10th gen iPad or the 11th gen would be nice, but an update to the 3rd gen iPad Air, or the M3 rather, since that was just a spec bump, I hope they do more than just a spec bump and give it 2 cameras and change the wallpaper on the iPads, as these recent iPads have looked the same. The wallpapers have looked the same, the colors have looked the same. The only thing that's changed is the spec bumps. Usually when Apple designs an iPad, while it looks the same on the outside, it comes with a different wallpaper and slightly different designs to tell them apart. Not the iPad 11th and 10th generation and the 6th and 7th generation iPad mini. They've looked the same so far. So hopefully Apple changes that with this new event coming out in March. Of course, I will do a live stream followed by a podcast and cover it on my YouTube channel. And I'll do a podcast on Spotify talking about the prices and the specs for all of these individual products. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And speaking of Spotify, if I go to the Hawkins Tech Podcast, if I have it not offloaded here, I might have the app offloaded. Turns out I do. But I do post podcasts on Spotify. I haven't posted one since October. But expect the new podcast out when there is some new products. I won't really be posting podcasts as much, only unless there's new major products. So I won't be posting podcasts as often as I do, of course, unless there is new major products. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.